Oh my gosh, it is nearly midnight. I cannot sleep for nothing. I have to be up in 5 hours for a big meeting. I'm going to be cranky. If I don't get to sleep soon, I don't know what I'm going to do. This is not good at all.
Hello!
What are you doing in my room?
Never mind that. You asked too many questions. Say you can't get to sleep?
Well, no, but you popping up on the side of the bed does not help. I mean, I've tried counting sheep. I've tried a warm glass of milk.
And that's lamer.
And all that's done is make me want to vomit.
Well, there's good news for you. I have the revolutionary new sleep aid product brought to you by the guys at Triple Threat Talk.
And what might that be?
It's called Ryback Rules.
Ryback Rules?
Ryback Rules.
What?
It is just what I said. It is revolutionary. Take a look at the satisfied customer.
Before Ryback Rules, I would spend sleepless nights. But ever since the new institution of Ryback Rules, I get a great night's sleep every night of the week.
And thanks to Ryback Rules, I'm never cranky again.
Be one of the next 100 customers to call and get a free customized alarm clock with Ryback saying, "Wake up!"
Wake up!
So order yours today. Text, I don't know that. To episode 99, one episode away from 100 of the internet sensation known as Triple Threat Talk. I'm glad you can breathe. So,
I guess that's good. I guess that's good.
So we are on fire. I'm excited about 100 episodes. How about you guys?
Tired.
You're tired?
What are you tired from?
I can guarantee you next week it's going to be a lot of work on my part.
Well, it's the 100th episode.
Yeah.
You have to present a big story, a big thing. Clips.
A surprise for the two of you.
What?
Wait, what? I did not approve of this.
No, you'll like it, trust me.
Okay.
I can't say what it is because I want to be surprised.
But who else knows?
Just me.
Oh my god.
So we need Wonder Woman to throw her a lasso around you. So to get you to
Is that a real thing? Yes.
Got me looking so crazy right now.
So we opened up with this skit. We haven't done that in a
I'm
while.
glad you're awake, fella.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks to Ryback Rules.
Thanks to Ryback Rules.
Wake up!
Looks like Big B needs it.
Apparently you need to borrow my Ryback alarm clock.
I think so.
Custom made. Courtesy of our fine friends at Triple Threat Talk.
All right, old sport. Let's get started with some questions.
Some questions.
Old sport.
Alright, from the Buckin' Five.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite moments from the show's first 100 episodes?
When we say our goodbyes. No, I'm kidding. I guess we'll start from the end and work away.
I kind of like them all. No, I'm kidding. I like it when we're right over the talking heads on TV.
Isn't that most of the time?
It's most of the time, so I'm pretty much happy with what we do all the time. I think we may be the lowest rated show that is constantly right. No, it's true. I mean, I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, I just think, we get a lot of views. Our viewership, by the way, so you guys know, is more than just what's seen on YouTube.
Yeah, because I think before, when we just posted the YouTube link, it would just track that because everyone's just clicking on YouTube and it's getting constant views. But I think what happens when I post
now we're everywhere.
I post a link to the website, it doesn't get those views to YouTube because I think once you click on the YouTube link, it gets a view, which I don't post a link because we're trying to promote the website.
The website traffic, and plus however many people use our material, which is a lot.
Yeah, if you Googled us way back when, it wouldn't have been much. Now if you Google us, it's like a ton of stuff. So.
I like some of the fun stuff we did, like the skits.
That's what we did today.
And the interviews, and...
We need to start doing interviews again.
No, we've done a couple.
We've done a couple outside of the box. Other than wrestling.
Yeah, that's what we want to,
expand our horizons, fella.
Expand.
Exactly.
Expand.
But I think there's been a lot of stuff that's been really good.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna keep going. For me, it's it's a lot of the skits. Obviously that we did that today. The 50th episode skit was a lot of fun because we put a lot of work into it.
We did put a lot of work into that. That was very stressful.
More than we wanted to, I think. But it was fun to do. There's been some trials and tribulations. Obviously, the thing at Foxtown didn't work out. We thought that'd be some kind of interesting thing. But I guess in the long run, it worked out for the best because if you watch the episode, the acoustics in there weren't that great, and it kind of sounded like an echo, which didn't sound the greatest. But it was a good opportunity. It's been great. Would I think I would do this 100 episodes from the beginning? No. I still look back at the first episode when he mentioned we were Triple Threat Talk or T Cubes, which I still find hilarious, or Triple Threat Wrestling or T Cubes, sorry.
T Cubes.
So it's been a long, interesting journey for sure.
Yep, I agree, Mr. Doctor.
Question for him now.
What are some of your favorite dishes to cook?
Hell's Kitchen featuring the Doctor. You, get out!
He would
I like whatever. I would win the thing. Shrimp scampi is always up on my up on my list. I can do an Italian chicken bake that's pretty good. Some mac and cheese.
It's raw.
But yeah, pretty much shrimp scampi. Anything with chicken, I can work pretty good wonders with chicken. So
the question now that I ask now about
that
this,
makes sense.
About the question I have now about this question about your favorite dishes to cook.
What?
Why haven't we done a spin-off, Cooking with the Doctor?
We can. Whenever you want to.
I know we haven't done
it. Hey, what would be hilarious if I'm in there cooking when you two are talking sports or whatever, and I'll be like, almost ready, or like he'll be talking about something and I'll be like, but I have another opinion.
We need to call the food channel and get them on that.
The Food Network?
Yeah, that one.
Dining with Doc.
Yes.
Dining with Doc.
He could be like Guy Fieri, go to diners, drive-ins, and dives. Diners, drive-ins, and dives with the Doctor.
Drivers, drive-ins, dive-ins, and dives.
Drive-ins, dive-ins, and dives?
And doctor's offices.
It's getting out of hand quick.
Good Lord.
Also for the Bucket 5.
Another one?
What do you think about what happened with Dolph Ziggler and the concussion that he received? And do you think that changing the Extreme Rules match to a number one contenders match was the right way to go?
Do you want to answer this now or wait till we get to Extreme Rules?
We're going to answer it a little later. We're not ignoring it. We're ignoring it for now.
Catches on.
From Against All Odds 20, do you think Kurt Angle will get one last WWE match before he retires, or will he just be put in the Hall of Fame, or will he get even that because of him working for TNA and because of how he left the WWE?
I think they'll take him back up for a couple more matches. I think eventually, because he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
He's the Hall of Famer.
The TNA Hall of Fame is going to be crap. So I think
TNA Hall of Fame's a bingo hall back.
And I just think that
it's a shit out in your backyard.
They owe it to him. He did a lot for the company, and a lot of people from one organization like WCW are also in WWE's Hall of Fame. So I think it's very plausible that he'll be in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I think Against Odds, I think he might be a little confused. He says because how he left, he kind of left an open door policy. I mean, he needed to take time off for an injury, and obviously they wouldn't give it to him. But to be honest, he left open. They said, doors is open, you can come back. And Kurt Angle's been quoted in a lot of interviews saying that
he'd like to come back.
He wants to have the WrestleMania one more time. He's not denying another comeback with WWE. So I definitely see Kurt Angle come back once. He's probably going to wait till his TNA contract up, see where he's at in his career, and see where they're at with him, and see if they'll give him a apply. He's probably in contact with them constantly. I would think, just to see if when the time would be right for him.
Well, we definitely know that it would be good to have him back just for the simple fact of hearing "You suck."
As much as I like that, I don't think they would do that anymore with him coming back.
That'd be funny. The Jeffrey Caster. Do you honestly see Snorback winning the WWE title at Extreme Rules?
You say Snorback?
We'll save that question for Extreme Rules. We're ignoring it for now, but we're not ignoring it totally. We'll get back to you. And finally, from Jeffrey Caster, to wrap up user questions.
Wrap it up.
Do you think RVD will have one more comeback in WWE, or is he done? It's a question of comeback this week.
I think RVD is done. I don't think he wants to be, but I think he is because of his physical limitations.
Let's see, what time is it? Yeah, it's just past 4:20 in the West Coast, so he probably is done.
He's done. He's baked.
10 minutes in the
He's baked.
But no, I think he actually might come back. I think there were photos of him at the Hall of Fame this past year. He still has good ties to Paul Heyman. He's very popular with the WWE crowd. Again, I think he's another one of those open door policy superstars. So I can see RVD making a comeback.
I agree with Big B here. I could see him coming back. He does have a open door policy within the company, as he said, and I think it would be good to have him back. He's one of my favorites. So. Good stuff there, and good questions from you guys. Short, simple, but sweet. And remember, 2 of the questions we will.
Did you say swimple?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I got
combining sweet and simple.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
New word here, swimple.
Get that Webster's.
Like you saying, dwive in and dwive.
Boy, Dr. Basketball.
Anyway, so with that, we will anoint this week's Viewer of the Week.
Who's going to anoint it?
Who is the number 99th edition of? Well, I don't think it's number 99, but it's a
99th edition.
Well, not 99th viewer of the week because we didn't do that for a while.
Well, it's still episode 99 Viewer of the Week.
This is why when you guys talk about things not going our way sometimes, this is why. I think I'll do Jeffrey Castor this week. I like his questions about. I like that we're going to be addressing one later, and I like the fact that he brought up Rob Van Dam. Haven't heard that name in a long time.
RVD. So Jeffrey Castor, you're this week's episode Triple Threat Talk 99 Viewer of the Week. And for the
We got time, right?
yeah, we got a whole other 5 minutes to go for close to the 99th time. Big B, if you would please.
Doctor, give me the news. I got the bad case of the headline blues.
Thank you, old school.
Welcome, old school.
There we go.
Grind it out,
It's like
Doc.
trying to crack his
Grind it
back
out,
over there.
Doc. Grind it out. He's grinding it out.
Yeah.
Walk it out. Walk it out. Walk it out.
It is headline times at the Triple Threat Talk desk.
Old school.
So, the Washington Ovechkins and
You mean,
hockey.
wait a minute, wait, whoa. You mean the Alex Capitals?
The Alex Capitals.
Oh, okay.
The Alex Capitals
I was confused.
come up a little bit short in the playoffs. Of course, Big B knows all about coming up short. Scoring 0 goals in the last 5 games after his team's Game
Never ends.
7 exit from the playoffs. He accused the rest of improper officiating in Game 6, saying, in a Russian accent,
Don't even do it. Don't do it.
It'll sound like every bad Ivan Drago impression ever.
Don't do it.
the refereeing, you understand,
God.
how can there be no penalties at all on one team during the playoffs?
What's right there?
Ovechkin told the reporter in Russian, I am not saying there was a
This is
phone
not Russian,
call
this is
from the
English.
league, but someone just wanted Game 7. For the ratings, you know, the lockout, escrow,
Take a back promo.
the league needs to make profit. I don't know whether the refs were predisposed against us or the league, but to not give obvious penalties against the Rangers, while for any little thing was immediately penalized for us.
I don't know what's worse. His
That story or my accent?
his Russian accent or Big B talking tennis for 5 minutes. I haven't figured it out
Which is
yet.
coming up later. Stay tuned.
No,
So,
that's 20 minutes.
it's 20 minutes. But
The whole
But
segment.
here's the thing with this. Okay, Alex Ovechkin, I don't know much about hockey, but I know a little bit. He was 2-time MVP for Alex Ovechkin. One of the best players in the game right now. Is not clutch in the playoffs this year. 0 goals in the past 5 games, okay? Now, I understand you're angry because of how you're playing, but to go out and just say, yes, no one from the Rangers served a single penalty minute in Game 6 in that series. But maybe there was something going on in Game 6, maybe, but I don't see one game affecting a series that went to 7. I just don't see that happening, especially when himself, if he had scored a couple goals, and maybe I'd buy it. But I think he's just looking for a cop-out of why he scored 0 goals over 5 games.
There's a reason that Ovechkin is paid to what he's paid. He's paid to score goals, and he hasn't been.
Yeah.
And it's why they lost.
Yeah.
That
is why they lost.
He's been leading the team in hits, but that's not why they pay him. They pay him to score goals, and they weren't scoring any goals. Plus, it might help if your goalie played a little better. I mean, you give up 5 goals. It's not very good.
To the Rangers.
To the Rangers. So the Rangers win and move on. Beating the Capitals. They come from behind. They were down 3-2. They come back and won 4-3. Same with the Detroit Red Wings.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was a good series. They were down
That shows they're
3-2.
veterans, yeah.
Jimmy Howard and company come back. They advanced to Game 2. and the Pittsburgh Penguins are looking like a very strong contender to win the Stanley Cup, as they opened a can on the Senators last night, 4-1, taking control of that series as well. Yeah. So the Stanley Cup playoffs are in full swing.
Chicago looks good too.
Chicago does definitely look good to come out of the West. I think Detroit's going to be a tough out, though.
Yeah, I do.
They do play Chicago next, and that's going to be one heck of a series.
Chicago and Detroit starts later tonight,
that should be a very good series.
As Boston and New York.
Boston's my sentimental.
The Kings lead the Sharks in series 1-0, and as you mentioned a moment ago, Pittsburgh leads Ottawa 1-0 as well. So it's going to be some good playoff stuff and some more playoffs. The NBA, we'll get into it a little bit more after the break, with some thoughts that I've put together. But just before the break, Indiana does lead New York 3-1. There's a lot of threes right now. Pretty much every series has
except for coming out of Steph Curry. Yeah, there is a lot of threes.
Nice. Miami leads Chicago 3-1. The Spurs lead Golden State 3-2, and Memphis leads OKC 3-1.
They're done like dinner.
It's a little bit.
That's not a surprise to me.
It's a little bit early, but when we get back after the break, we'll discuss the NBA playoffs a little bit more in depth right after this on Triple Threat Talk.
It doesn't matter what comes, fresh goes better in life. With Mentos fresh and full of life, nothing gets to you. Staying fresh, staying cool. With Mentos fresh and full of life, fresh goes better. Mentos fresh, fresh goes better with Mentos fresh and full of life.
Mentos, the fresh maker.
And welcome back here on Triple Threat Talk. Postmaster Jones, Jimmy Biggers, along with my 99-time esteemed co-host, the Doctor, Gary Lockard, and the 99-time peon, Big B.
Yeah. Who didn't see that one coming?
A blind man talking.
Stevie Wonder's talking, right?
So I've compiled some thoughts on the NBA playoffs that I would like to pass along to you guys and get your all's views on them. Of course, if you guys have a thought or two of your own, throw it out there. But here's the ones that are immediately obvious to me. Okay? Chicago might be playing too physical for their current predicament.
Chicago doesn't make a basket.
Well, 65 points is a franchise low. I tweeted out that Michael Jordan had a 63-point game, so he loses by 2 points to the Bulls the other night. So, but I think they're playing too physical, especially with Luol Deng still suffering spinal tap complications, and also with Derrick Rose, his predicament that we all know of.
Well, he's no use to them now.
So, what do you guys think? You guys think that they're going after the Heat a little bit more than what they probably should be?
I mean,
they're wearing themselves out.
Yeah, I said this on the show last week about the Heat, where they lost Game 1 to the Bulls, and I didn't think the Heat would lose another game, which it seems that way. The Bulls just aren't showing up. The Heat are just way too physical for them. They were exhausted. They had it too easy, and I said the same thing to you. They had it too easy against the Bucks. And then they were kind of asleep at the wheel, so to speak, and then the Bulls got one over on them, and then the Heat are just, they're ready to play now.
You said it probably happen again.
And the same thing would happen when they probably play Indiana. Indiana probably win Game 1, the Heat will probably, Indiana's probably going to maybe get into a 6 or 7 game series. Indiana's a lot better of a team than the Bulls are, but I still say Game 1, Indiana beats them, and then they'll be kind of even after that point.
I think the problem is that during practice, Tom Thibodeau is blaring "Let's Get Physical" by Olivia Newton-John over the loudspeaker.
What the heck?
So they're taking it to heart.
Nice.
But, the most embarrassing stat of the other night, and that was not them having 65 points. While that is embarrassing in and of itself, Nate Robinson, who's supposedly the star of this team, he obviously had great games in the playoffs, really shooting well.
Pepsi Max.
He somewhat maybe drinks Pepsi Max, I have no idea. But it was 0 for 12 in that game they lost. He made a single basket. It just was horrible play by not just him, but the whole team, and it's embarrassing. It's utterly embarrassing that the Bulls are playing this horrible. They're a decent team. They beat the Heat twice this year.
So since they're utterly embarrassing, is that brought to us by True Moves?
No one has it on the table. So.
Shameless plug minute.
But yeah, the Heat are...
I agree with him. The Heat are on fire. No pun intended.
Hey, sure.
And the Bulls are absolutely struggling without Luol Deng, without Derrick Rose. They're pretty much done. And the Thunder, I mean, Kevin Durant's doing all he can.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only so much one man can do, and it's clearly obvious that he's doing everything and anything he can to get it done, and he's not able to get it done. And, you know, so...
I mean, he needs Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, this series is not a surprise to me.
After they lost Westbrook.
I fully... Because when they lost Westbrook, I even slightly thought that the Houston Rockets might come back, but obviously they couldn't. They weren't playing all good offensively towards the end, but... Memphis is a tough team. They have great defenders in Zach Randolph, Marcus Gasol. Conley's playing out of his mind. And this Grizzlies team is very good. They're very good from top to bottom. And without Russell Westbrook, this could end in... The Thunder might win one more game. I would say maybe one more, but then the Grizzlies are going to wrap this up.
Well, they better win it tonight then, or else they're done.
And I think with the Golden State Spurs series, I think the Spurs finally figured out how to shut out Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. Green. They combined for 9 points.
Yeah, they're not doing too good. Green is defending Curry like I've never seen before. Green, and he's always making 3 pointers, which is causing me headaches to watch because every time he gets the ball, he's always making a three. And it's a shame because the first game of the series, Golden State had that great start playing in San Antonio. Steph Curry had 44 points, 11 plus assists, and they had a 16-point lead going in the fourth quarter 4 minutes to go, and they gave it up. They did the same thing against Denver, but Denver's not as good as San Antonio, so Denver didn't able to come back. But San Antonio was no joke. Tony Parker, Tim Duncan, Ginobili, they're all veteran teams. They all have rings, so they know what they're doing, and you can't allow it to happen.
When it comes down to the Grizzlies and the Heat, I think they're both capitalizing what they can on injured teams. Obviously nobody can say if the Heat wins that there shouldn't be an asterisk going by there because they've lost them. They've have some key personnel.
I think the toughest system is next, the Pacers.
Right, and I believe that the Pacers game would go to 7. I honestly believe that. And I would even think that the Pacers could win that game, especially if Dwayne Wade is still injured.
They have a puncher's chance to win.
Yeah, they definitely have a chance to win. Here's the thing that is bothering me. Whenever Carmelo Anthony for the Knicks takes the floor, you hear chants of MVP.
Yeah.
9 of 28 the other day.
Yeah, it's just bad.
It's just bad. He is not an MVP by any means. LeBron is showing that even though I'm not a LeBron Camp fan, I will say that Carmelo is definitely not deserving an MVP. And, people will argue that. As a matter of fact, Mike Greenberg tweeted out he could not blame Carmelo for what's going on in New York, and I thought that was ludicrous. 9 of 28. Look at his stats. He's played one game where he has not been selfish, and they won that game.
Yeah, he had a lot of assists.
And now he shot for 56 points the other day. Shot 4. 28 baskets would make you shoot for 56 points. Made 18 points of that 56.
I'll slightly disagree with that. He shouldn't be MVP only because. I agree that LeBron is definitely MVP, though, no kidding. But I don't blame that one guy voting for him because. When you break it down for MVP, most valuable player, could the Heat be in the playoffs without LeBron James? Sure they can. Would they be as good? No, of course not. But without Carmelo, would they be in the playoffs? Probably, yeah. They're probably one of the worst teams in the East. So I can see where that guy's coming from.
I can't because he's too selfish of a player. It doesn't matter what you can do. If you pass the ball around, you're going to get production. I.e., if Carmelo was not there, someone else would be picking up the production that he would make up for in the one spot. Someone would be doing that.
I still don't see him as a playoff team without him.
And you may be right, but the production would still be there. I could go out there and score 18 points. And I'm horrible offensively. But the fact of the matter is, he has got to distribute the ball a little bit more and a little bit better and stop being so selfish with the ball.
They're done anyway.
Oh, absolutely.
They can't. Hansbrough had a hell of a night the other night. Roy Hibbert destroyed them the other night. 22 points, 20 rebounds. They can't stop Paul George. They can't stop anybody on the Pacers floor.
And someone brought up a very good point. At what point do we stop blaming Carmelo for? So apparently somebody disagrees or agrees.
Right.
At what point...
It's probably Reggie Miller.
At what point do we stop blaming the Knicks and start giving this Pacers team some credit? I don't think that's going on. I think people want to blame the Knicks because they're the sexy name in this series between New York and the Pacers. Yeah. But the Pacers are just better. They're just flat out better. I think that the Pacers are just beating the Knicks.
Look at the the media outlet quality here you're talking about. You're talking about New York versus Indianapolis.
Right.
That's another thing
Yeah.
too. You people want to, it's a bigger city, so it's going to get talked about more. Indianapolis is more smaller. It's not as big. You're not going to get as much hype. You're not going to get as much coverage. So.
The New York teams are doing horrible.
Oh, I know. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about as far as like why there's so much bias. It's because the media market is so much larger.
It's not a surprise to me that Indiana's here because they were in the Eastern Conference Finals last year.
Yeah,
so it's not a surprise.
And they're
a great team. They're a great team. They're the second best team in the East. Yeah, they're the second best team in the East.
Big B, take us through some tennis. I know you got a novel over there.
A novel.
All right, anyway, so last week ended the Madrid Open, and a lot of upsets happened last week. Federer goes out to Nishikori.
Some rackets were broken.
Yeah. Djokovic loses to Dimitrov, who's dating Maria Sharapova, so his life is getting a lot better. And Andy Murray lost as well. So the surprise one of the other Swiss player, Stan Wawrinka, set up the Nadal-Wawrinka final with Nadal winning 6-2, 6-4 for his third title in Madrid. Wawrinka didn't really stand a chance against Nadal. I thought Nadal was too much game for Wawrinka. So, but it's good to see him make it to the final. Get him some.
I think what we
spotlight.
need to do, in order to see just how good you are when it comes to tennis, I think one week on the show we're going to take this paper away from him, and I want him to correctly spell all these odd names. Spelling. We'll have a spelling bee. Tennis.
Spell
bee.
chair.
Use it in a sentence.
The word is chair.
Use Wawrinka in a sentence.
Anyway, let me get back to my topic. And then the women's, and I don't want to forget the women's final. Serena Williams defeated Sharapova in the final. Actually, number one ranking was on the line of Sharapova won. She'd been number one. Obviously, Serena didn't let that happen, so she looks good going into the French Open. Now we're going current here. Rome. Just going to run down some things real quick. Third round matches taking place. Djokovic is playing a lot better this week. He's going to take on Dogopolov after Wawrinka had to retire in the second round match with a thigh injury. Berg set up a third round match with Ken Anderson after Anderson upset the 11th seed Marin Cilic. Surprise third round, Jeremy Chardy upsets Nishikori, who obviously had a good tournament last week against beating Federer. He would take on Granollers from France, who actually beat Andy Murray today. Murray had to retire, and they were set a piece.
Andy Murray lost.
He was forced to retire. Hopefully, I think he's trying to get ready for the French Open, get a little, rested. Another upset took place actually. This guy had some success last year in the BNP Paribas Open in France. Jerzy Janowicz, we saw that clip while getting mad at the line, whatever.
Jerzy Janowicz.
He took out
name.
He took out Tsonga, sets up a match with him, Richard Gasquet, as Richard Gasquet defeats Dimitrov, who had a good
Tsonga. Tell people this guy's first name.
Joe Wilford.
Joe Wilford Tsonga. Well, you just said Tsonga. People may not know who Tsonga is.
Tsonga is.
Well, you know, but the viewers may not know.
Anyway. Federer is playing much better in this tournament as he sets up a third round match with Gilles Simon, as Gilles Simon beats Mikhail Yuzny in the second round. Nadal beats Fabio Fognini pretty easily. He sets up a third round with Ernest Gulbis. And Ferrer beats Fernando Verdasco in 3 sets to set up a third round with Philip Kohlschreiber. On the women's side, Serena Williams got some revenge from her sister who lost to Laura Robson. Williams advances to the third round, who faces Silbukova. Simona Halep from Romania is having the tournament of her life. Knocks out...
Oh no, I was just reacting to him to the names. I wasn't going to say anything though.
Simona Halep from Romania is having the tournament of her life. She knocks out Kuznetsova and Radwanska and advancing in round 2.
His names are killing me.
Yankovic will take on Lina in the third round. Kvitova defeats Sabine Lisicki, will meet Sam Stosur in the third round. And French Open finalist Sarah Arani will take on Maria Karolinko in the third round. And Sloane Stephens will take on Maria Sharapova in the third round. So next week I should have updates on who wins these tournaments and who's going to have some momentum going to the French Open. So we'll see what happens.
I have a question.
Yes.
How many of those people lost points on their SATs for not spelling their names right?
They've been playing tennis since they were 16, so I don't think they take them.
Cheese and crackers. Some of those names kill me, fella, I tell you. So NASCAR.
It didn't take 20 minutes, did I?
Jimmy, Postmaster, take us through some names that aren't easy, that are easy to pronounce,
like Gordon, Stewart, Johnson, Earnhardt, Kenseth. Kenseth! You said Kenseth, that rings a bell because Matt Kenseth tamed the Lady in Black. The Darlington Stripe was Matt Kenseth. He was the winner this past Saturday night at Darlington. No rain, thankfully. No rain.
Just like you said last week, no rain needed.
Yeah.
No rain.
Kyle Busch dominates the day, leads over 200 laps, but he falls victim to a cut tire late and falls from first to, I think, 5th or 6th place. But a good win, in fact, for Kenseth. This comes off of earlier in the week when he had his penalties rescinded, had some of those taken away, had some deducted. So with winning on Saturday night, that catapulted him to third in the point standings behind Jimmy Johnson and Carl Edwards. Dale Jr. is fourth. They are off this week for points racing. However, they're going all-star racing, which I've said all along that the NASCAR all-star race is the best all-star game out of any sport because you get every star and they all go for a $2 million payday.
Is it $2 million this year?
$2 million.
Winner take all?
Winner take all.
Wasn't it $1 million last year?
I think so. They upped it $1 million. It's $2 million in purse money. Basically, it's go time. There's no points involved. You either wreck it or you're bringing home victory. You know, wreckers or checkers. I know we hear that a lot, but they'll be in Charlotte this week at the All-Star event, and then next week they will stay in Charlotte for the longest race of the year. And if you're a motorsports fan, it's the best day of the year because, and we'll preview this some more next week, it is the Indy 500 in the morning and the Coca-Cola 600 in the evening. So 1,100 miles of I'm going left should be exciting. So with that, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll wrap up headlines right after this.
Another left, and make a left after that one. Yeah! Whoa, taught her everything she knows. Are we there yet?
And welcome back, everybody, to the web sensation known as Triple Threat Talk. I, of course, am the Dr. Gary Locker, joined as always by Big B, Brandon DeMiro, and Jimmy, Postmaster Jones Biggers, who is trying to bring up one of our headlines. I'll pass it up right now. Go to the next one. Titus Young. Last week, we mentioned that Titus Young was arrested twice in a day. We are going to have to rescind him as Idiot of the Week, though, because as it comes to light, we have learned that he does have bipolar disorder. So Titus Young does have the honor of being the first Idiot of the Week that Triple Threat Talk is rescinding. But Titus Young was arrested for the third time in a week. This time for breaking into someone's house. His father said he met with him for lunch early Friday before he was arrested, and he seemed happy and was laughing with him. Later, his dad said he was just put on meds to treat bipolarism and depression, and after the arrest, that is when his dad said that. Right. So I think the key for this young man, and bipolar disorder is no joke. No. It's nothing at all to make light of or laugh at. But I think from going forward, Freddie Coleman on ESPN had some great advice.
The Freddie Coleman
just surround yourself with good people. Yeah. And
that's why I surround myself with you.
That's right. Because, where else are you going to get this kind of support?
That's right. I try to distance myself from people like you.
I've gathered that.
But you need to surround yourself with good people that are going to encourage you and be there for you, be legitimate friends, and not be people. Hey Titus, how you doing? You got $100 for me today, or something like that. I think you need to really find your good friends and really kind of reach out and find the people that are really there for you. And I think at that point, he'll start maybe turning around. And when he starts taking his meds.
Right. Two quick NFL stories real quick. Not going to delve into them too much. Actually, another player getting arrested. Actually, this is worse than what Titus Young's going through. Jimmy Smith, former player for the Jaguars, he got arrested. I can't remember what for, but he's going to be in jail a long, long time from what I read. And then also, news out of Jets is that David Guard is actually having to retire. He's got problems with his knee, so now they're down to Sims, Sanchez, Smith, and guy from Alabama.
Greg
McElroy, thank you. So they're down to 4 quarterbacks. I think Guard leaving hurts Geno Smith. We'll see what happens with the Jets.
And this weekend is the second jewel of the Triple Crown.
Preakness.
Take us through the Preakness list.
The Preakness draw was just ended here just a short while ago, and I was able to get the post position draws.
He didn't.
And your Kentucky Derby winner, Orb,
he didn't get the one.
He draws the rail.
Oh no!
The one hole for Joel Rosario and Shug McGee.
So much for that.
Morning line, even money.
That's gonna change.
He'll be 1-9 come.
No, he'll be 3-1 or something starting.
Your second choice in the wagering, My Loot with Rosie DePravnik and Tom Amos at 5-1. Departing with BJ Hernandez Jr. and Albert Saw is in the 4-hole is at 6-1. Golden Sense is running again. He is in the 2-hole at 8-1. There's only 9 entries
So far.
Oxbow, who is also in the Derby, is in this race. Will Take Charge. Governor Charlie, who is a horse that wasn't in the Derby, but will be in this race. And one that I think a lot of people, if you're a Green Bay Packers fan, will bet on, Titletown 5. It's actually owned by Paul Horning. Has a small ownership. He has a small ownership in that horse. And if you don't know what I mean by Titletown 5, that is the number of championships that the Packers have won. So,
Number of Super Bowls.
Yeah.
They've won 13 championships before.
So 9 horses, a big dramatic change from 20 down to 9.
Does a little bit.
Does the one hole affect Ord?
Yes, it does. And I don't. The way it works though, with 9, it affects him a lot less than it would be 20.
Yeah, of course.
Because out of the one in the Derby, like a 1920 horse field, that one hole is the kiss of death. It will affect him if he can break clean though, and he doesn't stumble, which he can do. Which is very, very possible. There's not a whole lot of speculation on that. That he can break clean and get away. I think he'll be okay. And I think if he can overcome this, I'm going to disagree with what you said last week. If he can overcome this, I'm going to remind you. If he can overcome this, I think he can win the Triple Crown. You said that you didn't think he would be able to.
No, I said he would. He said he would.
I thought you said that.
No, I said he would because I said this is his biggest hurdle because Belmont is his home track, and I think that favors him. So I think he will win it.
I think the shorter track here, and Orb's ability to close, like we saw in the Derby, I think it'll be a little bit better for him. And I think one thing that you're also going to see is Oxbow, who finished 6th in the Derby. I think what you're going to look for from him is he is going to be able to come around because he started fading about at the 1.25 mile mark from the Derby. Of course, you go a little bit further in the Derby than you do at the Preakness. I think he's going to hit the money because if you look where he started fading in the Derby, it parallels to the end of the race at the Preakness. I think that that's a very good possibility to see Oxbow kind of in the money, as well as Golden Sense. Golden Sense did not run his race in the Derby. Everybody knows that. I think he'll be in the money as well. I think the people in the money, though, will be Derby horses and not some of these newer people, the newer horses that are being added to the race pool.
We shall see, sir. We shall see.
So, Tiger Woods, your boy. The 5th major, the TPC Sawgrass.
What's considered as the 5th major.
It's not technically a major.
Right.
He did win, but there's a little bit of controversy. Before we get into it, Big B, roll that footage.
Roll it.
On the course.
So you could hear the crowd.
Okay, so what has happened here? What is going on is Tiger Woods goes for is in the middle of the fairway and goes for his 5-wood, which Tiger, whether you love him or hate him, he can manipulate the audience by pulling certain clubs. By pulling the 5 club here with the 5-wood here, he is essentially saying he's going for the green. And those morons, whenever he tees off on a par 5 or a par 4, go for the hole, Tiger. That's what
they do that for everybody.
But they do it more so
nuts.
for Tiger, and it's
Get
ridiculous. Get in the hole.
Like,
And that is what he's doing when he's pulling this 5-wood to elicit a reaction. Okay, this reaction, there is no mistake about it, did in fact distract Sergio. Now, where the controversy comes in is whether or not Tiger knew it or not. Of course, Tiger said that the marshals told him to hit, which I knew would not be likely. I didn't think it would be a lie at the time, But I figured it was unlikely because the marshals are not to talk to players unless they talk to them first.
Right.
So he said he did not ask, but that the marshals told him that he hit. So it'll be like, oh, hey, he went ahead and hit, you can hit. Right. So not like, hey, can I hit now? No, he didn't ask. He said he was told,
right.
Which I thought was a lie pretty much because of that, which it was.
Yeah.
So it comes out that the two marshals that were there, in fact, a couple days later, said that no, we did not tell Tiger to hit. We do not talk to the players unless they talk to us. So Tiger was not a man and did not admit what he said was wrong. And I think this bias towards Tiger, like Tiger can get away with anything. I think this has got to stop because it is ruining the game of golf. Right. Just because Tiger is Tiger, and yes, he is a great golfer. I think he's a horrible human being for stuff that he's done.
I agree with that.
And I think that this just adds to that.
Right. I agree with Tiger being a horrible human being. Obviously, what he did in the past is, obviously affects his reputation.
I mean, that's not slander or libel.
It affects his reputation and why he lost so many sponsors as he did. But on the other side of this thing, he outright wins the tournament because Sergio Garcia just completely imploded on the last day. So.
We'll talk about that. But right now, the issue at hand is his handling of the situation.
Well, obviously, it's criminal.
Right.
It's saying one thing, and obviously the marshals aren't going to lie. They're saying we never talked to him. We're not supposed to talk to the players unless they come to us, which obviously he did not. So why he does this, I have no idea. But it's Tiger being Tiger, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
So he does win because of Sergio imploding, going for the stick on the world famous 17 hole at Sawgrass.
I guess in this case we could say he voted like an Hispanic.
But he goes for the hole, misses, hits the water not once but twice,
and then he hits it again on hole 18.
And then hole 18 he hits the water on 18, but twice on one hole.
Tiger did hit one ball in the water.
Hits a 7 on 17 and a 6 on 18. And so this results in Tiger losing ground. The only obstacle he had to do was dodge was David Langmuir, who's a rookie. This is his first TPC for the Sawgrass. He putts for a 60-foot birdie putt on 18, misses. That seals it for Tiger. He could have forced a playoff right there. But he fails to hit the birdie. So
Tiger wins by 2.
Tiger wins by 2. By 1. By 1. Because if he could have tied it right here. Tiger wins by 1 at 13 under. What are your thoughts on Tiger?
I've said it all along. I've said it. This is his 4th win in his last 7 starts. It's his 7th win in his last 21 starts. He's certainly proven that, he's getting his game back. It's pretty obvious. And I think it was no more evident than this week. I think he was playing very conservative. He was using his irons a lot instead of his drivers off the tee. If you notice, he was using his irons quite a bit to tee off. I think he was setting himself up for the Memorial and the U.S. Open because I think he knows that's how he's going to have to play at that course. He's going to be conservative, be consistent, and he did a good job of that. Minus the one incident with Sergio, but we all know they don't get along anyway, so that's no surprise there. Take that out of the equation, and I thought all along from the beginning when I was watching it, because I watched it pretty much all day Sunday up until I had an engagement with my mother, that he was in control. Even when he hit that ball in the water, I was like, that. Yeah, it's gonna be like phase him a little bit. It's gonna be like a heavyweight boxer that, he just got stunned with a punch out of nowhere, but he's gonna shake it right off. And I wasn't surprised when he won. It doesn't shock me,
Yeah, him winning is one thing. Obviously, I lost a lot of respect for him after what happened. So I still think he's a good golfer. I still think he's one of the best, probably the second best golfer of all time behind Jack. But as far as a human being goes, I just can't respect him anymore. He's a great golfer, but, other stuff kind of somewhat supersedes him in some aspects. But, congratulations for him for winning, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
Him and Sergio obviously don't get along. That's obviously very evident. But, he won. He won, and like you said, he's won those tournaments, whatever. But, it's hard to look past some of these things he's been doing, like what he did, with the Marshalls thing, and then obviously the thing that,
Find out why.
Yeah, so I don't know why. I don't know what his. I don't know what his motivation is, but
the only thing could be in it, and then again, more likely than not, it's not the case. And I've heard several of the national pundits say this: is that maybe somebody in the audience told Tiger that Sergio had already hit, and he took it as...
That's not his
But see, they're trying to defend Tiger, and they don't need to be.
I know. I'm just saying that they're...
Maybe that's where he got it
Maybe that's where he got it from. I'm not saying yay or nay. I'm just saying that maybe that's where Tiger got it from. He heard crap people saying, Tiger, Sergio's already hit. You're good to go. Blah, blah, blah.
But it is what it is.
Yeah.
Just people defending Tiger on these actions. It is getting old. Tiger is human. He's shown that with his off-the-course behavior. It's time that we start not holding him responsible, not just holding him responsible, but everybody responsible.
Right.
I mean, everybody is responsible because right now, sports people are supposed to be like role models, and right now, Tiger's not a role model I would want my kid to look up to.
There's a couple of them out there.
Yeah, there's a few of them up there.
So the final headline of the week.
The final headline of the week, and we will get into it, but I'll go ahead and say it. The big news around here, and this is the reason why it's number one around here, Andrew Wiggins, the Canadian that plays at Huntington Prep, number one college recruit going in this year, chooses to go to Kansas over UNC, FSU, and UK. The move propels Kansas to the number 2 overall draft class, recruiting class, and leaves UK with still the number 1 recruiting class. We'll get my thoughts, Big B, and Jimmy's thoughts right after this on Triple Threat Talk. Stay tuned.
There's anything that you want, just ask for it, old sport.
There's got to be. Anything can happen.
Mr. Gatsby, exactly who are you anyhow?
My life, old sport, has got to be like this.
Sir?
I'll get it together. I promise.
Ronnie, how happy are folks who save hundreds of dollars switching to Geico?
I'd say happier than the Pillsbury Doughboy on his way to a baking convention.
Get happy. Get Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
And we're back here on Triple Threat Talk. Postmaster Jones, Jimmy Biggers, along with Big B, Brendan Miro, and Gary, the Dr. Lockard. And before the break, we were talking about Andrew Wiggins, the number 1 recruiter out of high school, Huntington Prep in West Virginia, has selected to go to Kansas. Big B, your thoughts?
I know he was a highly coveted recruit going to UK, and I think people thought he was going to go to UK, and obviously he chose to go to Kansas, which helps Bill Self over there in the Jayhawks. But, Kentucky still has the number 1 draft class. I don't think they can do any worse than they did last year, so... but it helps Kansas, and it's a big blow to UK because I think they really, really wanted him to come there. But I think UK is going to be okay, it's one of those things. Like, you think you're going to get this huge recruit, and he decides to go somewhere else, and that's just how it is. It's how sports go.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were surprised that he picked Kansas. Although, if most people would have read into him personally, you would realize that he doesn't like the spotlight. He doesn't like to be in the limelight. In fact, when he made his announcement, there was no national media there. They didn't allow national media there. He just made it, basically kind of quiet and he picked Kansas. I can't blame him for picking Kansas. I can understand why he didn't pick UK because there's so many star players going there already. Yeah. He could be worried about playing time, how much of it he's going to get. He doesn't like a lot of pressure.
Yeah, there'd be a lot of pressure.
There'd be a lot of pressure. There'd be a lot of limelight. He'd be stepping into everything he doesn't like. Yeah. So I can see him personally why he didn't pick it. And before the doc gives his thoughts, I just want to say to the fan bases from Florida State and North Carolina and Kentucky, all 3 of you, it wasn't just one. And if U of L was involved, I would say it too, because all 3 of you all have disgusted me with some of your remarks. You basically said some 4-letter words. I think you know what they are, nice French words. And a couple I've even posted directly to Andrew Wiggins on his Twitter page and his Facebook page. These remarks, I think it's ridiculous. I mean, so you missed out on a recruit. It's not the end of the world. It's just sports, people. Get over it.
Some people take sports way too seriously.
Some people, you take this stuff way too seriously.
Last week with that guy with the Toronto sign.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact of the matter is, North Carolina, you're already a top-tier college basketball program. Not getting this one person is not going to affect you that much. Yeah. Same with UK. It's definitely not going to hurt UK. And Florida State, you're not really big enough to land a recruit like this. I mean, you're getting better, and you're coming up through, and y'all have really been consistent the last couple of years. But you're not a top-notch program like Kansas and Kentucky.
Florida State's more known for their football program.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's people need to just wake up.
I don't think it was a big blow to UK. I think they've already got the number 1 recruiting class coming in. They're still the Vegas favorites to win the national championship next year. Kansas is now second, then Louisville, then Michigan State. But I think it's one of the things that it comes down to exactly what you said. You know, a 17-year-old kid, his decision should not make or break someone's day. No. And I completely agree with what you said about that. Now, the fact also remains that you can make an argument for both, for why he chose to go to Kansas over Kentucky. He doesn't like the spotlight. You're absolutely right. That's one thing we've known about him since day one. Mm-hmm. Going to Kansas, he would not, there's not a whole lot to do in Kansas to distract you from basketball. I mean, they've said that. That was one of the big things that lured him to Kansas. But also, going to Kentucky, he really wouldn't have had a spotlight on him because there's so many great players there as well. So you can make an argument for him not liking the spotlight to go to Kentucky. Of course, the bad thing is the spotlight is always on Kentucky. Mm-hmm. It just wouldn't be on him individually, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I think no matter where he goes, the spotlight's going to be on him because he's the number 1 player coming out of high school.
Exactly. And I think it's one of those things that you have to look at draft-eligible players as well that Bill Self and Calipari have gotten. Bill Self has gotten 9 5-star recruits that are draft eligible now. Mm-hmm. 4 of those 9, so less than 50%, have gone in the first round. When you look at Calipari's record, people that are draft eligible, not overall, but 13 5-star recruits, 11 of those have gone in the first round. And I think that speaks volumes for the type of coaching and the type of prep that Calipari can get done. So I think that's a very good argument in case of, why he should have, in fact, gone to Kentucky.
Right.
Now, Bill Self is a different style ball-playing coach. If you look at it, of course, Coach Cal is the dribble drive. Mm-hmm. Bill Self is more of kind of slow down and just kind of attack the perimeter and attack the post.
Right.
And I think it's one of those things that sticks to a little bit more of Wiggins' game plan. Jim Rome, I think, had it all wrong. I have to give him a slap here because he said that he thought it was Self getting over on Cal. I don't think that at all. I think Kansas is just a little bit better fit for Andrew Wiggins personally and his style of basketball. And someone getting over on someone would mean that, it affects everything. It would affect the odds for UK to win. It would affect their number 1 recruiting class. None of that happened. They're still the favorite to win next year. They're still the number 1 recruiting class. So I don't know what Jim Rome was talking about. Obviously, he was throwing a little hate towards UK's way.
Could be.
Because it wasn't just Self getting over on Cal. It was Self getting over on... not even getting over on Cal. He didn't get over Cal. Cal's still over Self. But it was, in fact, Self getting over on Roy Williams with North Carolina and also Florida State. So I think it's one of those things that, Wiggins is going there. We have to accept it. Right. It didn't hurt my day. I would have loved to have had him at Kentucky.
Well, yeah, of course. Who wouldn't?
Who wouldn't? I'm sure Patino would have loved to have had him.
Anybody would have taken him at U of L.
Exactly.
Obviously, but like you said, and like I said, it's just people that are like going ape crap crazy over it. It just
should not affect it.
Chill out.
It shouldn't affect your day, and you don't post any hate to this kid. He's a 17-year-old kid trying to figure out what he wants to do with his life. There's nothing wrong with not choosing Kentucky.
If a high school kid, he's a kid still, if him going to not your school affects your day, then you need to figure out what your day's doing.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, that's 100% right. I couldn't have said it any better.
So that's headlines this week.
Fail lines.
So with that, we go to the doc, and courtesy of our good friend, the Brian Cannon, at ovwblogspot.mania.com.
Sounds right.
Yeah. Results from the Saturday night special.
Well, I didn't get the Saturday night special. I got... It's out there, but I know that they like to sell it and they like to promote it a little bit. So we'll talk about the Saturday night special next week.
Okay.
Because I want them to be able to get their time and sell it and all that stuff.
Well, what better for the 100th episode?
Exactly. So So this is just last Wednesday's TV coverage. Hayes said at the beginning, the show started with Michael Hayes. Hayes said at the beginning, the coalition is robbing people of opportunity in the back, which is funny because Jason Wayne enlisted in the Army to protect people's opportunities, talking about protecting America and America's opportunities. But Michael Hayes said he's going to give 3 specific people an opportunity to take on the coalition later on, and that was Rudy Switchblade and the Mobile Homers. Mm-hmm. So then we got into the bread and butter, really, of the night.
All right.
Jesse Bell versus Trina. Trina wins by pinfall. Then we got into Mr. Joe Rosa versus Jamin Olivencia. Jamin wins by DQ, the VIP squad getting involved there. Then we went to the elevator. I don't know where I was going with that. The Ohio Valley Wrestling television title. Jesse Goddard, your buddy, taking on Rockstar Spud.
For the second week in a row.
Spud did win it by pinfall. Now, after this match, Randy Royal came out, shoved Spud down, and said he is still owed a championship, a television title shot.
Which they had.
And Randy Royal did in fact win that. I will give you that little nugget.
Randy Royal is Ohio Valley Wrestling television champion.
So we want to send out congratulations.
I'm sure our good buddy Michael Rickard is happy about that.
He's very happy about that. So the last match of the night, the Mobile Homers and Rudy Switchblade against members of the coalition. Rudy Switchblade and the Mobile Homers do win via DQ.
All these DQs.
Now,
in the world?
Here's the thing. Everybody sees this masked Gilly guy.
The Gilly guy.
The Gilly guy out of for the coalition. And he's just kind of sitting back. Well, he eventually unmasks, and it's Sam Shaw, and he goes ballistic on the other 5 members of the coalition. Michael Hayes then says that there's going to be some stipulations for the Saturday Night Special. If you want to read about them, those are on the blogs, Brian Cannon's blog spot, or you can wait till next week when we'll talk about the Saturday Night Special here at Triple Threat Talk.
All right, one quick thing I want to mention. Definitely want to send my well wishes, and obviously I also want to send wishes to Taylor and Joe Coleman. Had some issues at the Saturday Night Special. I think Taylor got food poisoning, and Joe Coleman was suffering from fatigue, dehydration, and head injury. So obviously, wish them well on a speedy recovery because they are definitely friends of the show.
And we want to thank our good friends Cheryl and Terry Bodie for everything that they do as always. And also want to give a quick thank you to the Brian Cannon. He sent us a special message via Facebook this morning.
Week early, but
we appreciate that. We appreciate all that. And we want to spend a special shout out to our good friend Michael Rickard, who announced, I knew the other day, but he made it publicly for everybody to know today on Facebook. He is, in fact, leaving us to head back to his home front in Ohio. We wish him all the best. We obviously will keep in touch with him for sure. He's been on the show a couple times, obviously done an excellent job.
To do with the
show. Also, obviously, you can see the 3 of us here. Just Kendra is gone. She's on with the show, and physical form.
Big B fired her. we tried to do everything we could, but Big B
blame it on me right now.
Big B fired her.
But we wish her well on her move to Atlanta, Georgia. Obviously, congratulations on her for graduating this past weekend. She was a good part of the show. We really loved having her on, and of course, we look forward to having her on again soon. Via Skype or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. So with that, we'll move into Extreme Rules. Not a lot happened on Raw.
No, I mean, there's not enough happened on Raw to warrant us going over it, because if I went over it, honestly, I'd probably fall asleep because I mentioned Ryback.
Exactly. But we have a big card to go.
Normally, when we go over pay-per-views, okay,
we have maybe 4 or 5
matches. We have 9?
We have 9. This is going to be a good pay-per-view.
I think so.
But Extreme Rules always is. Yeah. So let's start at the top, work our way down. We'll get our WWE pay-per-view pick-ems.
So we're gonna run up against the break in between this.
So we'll do pick-ems. We'll take a break. We'll wrap up pick-ems when we get back. So for the YouTube /Facebook /WWE app /WWE.com pre-show match
/ no one cares.
The Miz versus Cody Rhodes.
I'm going Miz.
I'm going Miz, and I actually have a problem with this match because if you can look at the card, there's no Intercontinental title match featuring Wade Barrett, which I'm kind of disappointed about. Very prestigious title that's not being defended. I think this could be a spot where they could put that. So they have Miz fight Cody Rhodes for some odd reason, but I picked the Miz.
I picked the Miz as well. Chris Jericho versus Fandango.
I'm going Fandango because the guy is absurdly over for what? I don't know.
You don't know. It's epic answers. This is
tough.
Because if history repeats itself, the person that gets the last off on Raw usually loses the pay-per-view, and Fandango got the last off on Raw. But I'm going to go against the grain here. I think they're really going to push Fandango past Chris Jericho. I think if Jericho wins, they have the third match, and I don't think that's going to happen. So I pick Mr. Fandango.
I pick.
Can't pick.
Huh?
Can't pick.
I know, it's too hard to pick, but I'm going to go with Fandango as well.
Alright, so far.
Alright, in an Extreme Rules match, so I guess this is the main event? No, thank God, right? Get your pillows ready. Randy Orton versus The Big Show.
Or if you want to, the people that did the info for Saturday Morning Stand, they called him Randy Horton.
Oh, okay.
I'm going Orton. He's getting himself back in, starting to gain trust again. He will screw it up probably eventually if history repeats
Orton,
itself.
here's a who.
But as of right now, he's on the train back to recovery.
I'll say it's Randy hears voices inside his head. Just watching him puts me to bed. He puts me to sleep, but I pick him anyway.
Wow.
I pick Randy Orton. In a strap match, this ought to be interesting. Mark Henry versus Sheamus.
I'm going to go Mark Henry. Sheamus is getting over on him a little too much for my liking lately, so I'm going to say Henry gets some redemption.
I'll explain why I'm laughing after the break, but I'll pick Sheamus.
I picked Sheamus as well, and I think I have an idea. But with that, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up Extreme Rules Pick'ems, get into Wild Card, and Idiot of the Week, and wrap up the show right after this.
Hey, Nick Dinsmore here. Do you have the dream of becoming a pro wrestler? Well, I did, and I came to Ohio Valley Wrestling. Join the Nick Dinsmore Pro Wrestling class today. I'm a former WWE superstar, I'm a former 9-time Ohio Valley Wrestling heavyweight champion, and I can train you to be the best today. For all the information regarding the Nick Dinsmore Pro Wrestling class, go to ovwrestling.com and click on school. Join the Nick Dinsmore Pro Wrestling class today. ovwrestling.com, click on school.
And welcome back here on the show. We were knee-deep into WWE Extreme Rules Pick'ems. Yeah. So, Big B, you were laughing before the break.
The reason I'm laughing because when Mark Henry was cutting his promo on Raw and he had the strap with Matt Striker, he used some interesting wordage there. He said, "Hey, Matt, put this strap on." So. Wow. Poor choice of words, Mark. Poor choice.
The WWE Tag Team titles are on the line. Team Hell No.
No!
Daniel Bryan.
Yes!
And Kane.
No!
Go against
Shield.
Sierra, Hotel, Echo, India, Echo, Lima, Delta, Shield. Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns.
You can't spell Shield, can you?
I'm going to have to go with the Shield. They're on a roll. I don't want to see Hell No lose, but I think it's going to happen.
I picked Sierra, Hotel, India, Echo, Lima, Delta, Shield.
I picked the Shield. The Shield.
Speaking of Shield,
the United States title is on the line as a guy who's not even from the United States. The champ, Kofi Kingston.
He's from Jamaica or West Africa.
From Guantanamo, South Carolina, or who knows. He would take on the other member of the Shield, Dean Ambrose.
I'm going to go Dean Ambrose. I think they're setting Extreme Rules up to be an extreme night for the Shield.
I once again pick the Shield. I picked Dean Ambrose.
I picked Dean Ambrose as well, and if they win both these matches, it would be epic.
Dean.
The World Heavyweight Championship #1 contenders match.
Huh? I guess we can address Buck and Five's question.
Yes, now we will address Buck and Five's question, and that is, in fact, that Dolph Ziggler suffered a serious concussion. In fact, he doesn't even remember 2 days of his life. Yeah, that's how big.
AJ had to tell him what happened on Raw and stuff.
Like, he knows nothing. He doesn't remember any of it. So by doctor's orders, not you, they set him out. He will not be in this match. So instead, it will be a #1 contenders match. It will be a submission match. It will be Alberto Del Rio versus Jack Swagger.
I thought it was an I Quit match.
It is an I Quit match.
No, they said submission match on Raw.
Well, it's the same thing.
Okay. All right.
If he's tapped out, he quits.
Well, he said submission match, but anyway,
either way, I'm going to go Del Rio.
I picked Del Rio. I think what happened with Ziggler is partially Swagger's fault if you watch it. And no one knows when Ziggler's going to be back, so his world title run's not looking too good right now, so I picked Del Rio.
The WWE Divas title is on the line.
I forgot to add that, but it is out there because AJ did win that Battle Royal week back.
Caitlyn versus AJ.
Caitlyn's just not getting over. I think they're going to give it to AJ and have kind of like AJ and Dolph, Queen and King of WWE.
I think Caitlyn loses because of her crush. And I think it's, I'm looking more into it. I think the crutch is not an actual guy. I think it's the belt's one's messing with her, so I think they're going to cost her the belt. I think AJ wins this one.
I pick AJ as well.
Yeah, we just like oh no, I picked Mark Henry.
Yeah, it's
in complete agreement.
Triple H and Bork Laser.
Triple H.
In a steel cage.
Triple H won at Mania, didn't he?
Yeah, but Lesnar won at SummerSlam, so this is the grudge.
No, they didn't fight at SummerSlam.
Yes, it was.
They fought one other time. They fought
at SummerSlam
last year?
SummerSlam last year.
It is a grudge match, you're right. So it's the last match in the series. I'm giving it to Triple H.
I give it to the COO of WWE, Triple H.
Triple H wins, and Brock Lesnar continues his moniker of millionaire jobber.
Bork.
The main event of the evening.
Well, no, we didn't say it yet.
The WWE title in a last man standing match. So I guess John Cena's going to lose because the side of Ryback's going to put him to sleep. John Cena on one leg takes on Ryback.
I think that the view of Ryback through the company's eyes is not the same as your all's. I did the skit earlier because I thought it was funny. I don't think John Cena is going to lose just yet, but I think something is going to happen because Ryback they're building him up to be too strong and too monstrous for him to be knocked out in the last man standing match. So something's going to happen. I'm going to pick John Cena with the caveat that something is going to happen in this match.
Okay, they mentioned on Raw that John Cena's undefeated at Extreme Rules, which kind of makes me lean towards Ryback because they threw it out there for what reason, I have no idea. But I picked John Cena. I don't see Ryback winning at Extreme Rules. And did you know, by the way, when Ryback comes out to the ring, he says, "Wake up." Mm-hmm. I think he says, "Wake up," so everyone's falling asleep.
Yeah, you said that already.
Did I say that on the show?
Yeah. Okay. We talked about that last week.
Okay, I thought I didn't say it.
But it's still funny. I picked John Cena.
How can John Cena win with Ryback in there? He might fall asleep.
I know. I agree. But I think the powers that be are seeing that the fans just do not like Ryback at all. He's getting little to no reaction anymore. Like none, hardly.
He's getting more Goldberg shit than anything else.
Yeah, like that's about the only thing he gets is Goldberg. And that's about the extent of his reaction. So 10 matches we picked. 10, I don't believe it.
Wow.
Should be
one of those is going to get cut. You know it is.
No, I don't think so. That's a pre-show match.
There tons of fun did at WrestleMania.
Yeah, but that's different. This won't go
They're going to allocate their time.
This won't go long. This will not go long.
Oh, I want to make one more point about the Triple H Brock Lesnar match. I think CM Punk comes back and somehow costs Brock Lesnar the title because
I think that too. I agree with you.
I think he wants Paul Heyman back with him. We'll see what happens with that.
So that's Extreme Rules Pick'em. Extremely long, mind you. 10 matches for sure. So it should be a good pay-per-view. It's always an interesting pay-per-view.
Negative.
So with that,
I wouldn't see that or not.
We will anoint the wild card. So Doc,
we're gonna anoint a wild card. Is that what's going on?
You are the wild card. Oh, Louis.
You got a wild card.
Yeah, I do actually. I didn't put it on headlines because I'm not sure if you two had heard, but Michigan has been dropped from the Notre Dame schedule for 2014 and beyond. Notre Dame was catching a lot of slack for that, a lot of flack, a lot of grief for that.
Slack.
I think it's a good move on behalf of Notre Dame because Michigan lately in football has not been top of the notch, and basically right now the Big Ten football is Ohio State, going undefeated last year, even though they were
banned from bowl.
Can I?
Oh, I thought you were trying to think of something.
No. Even though that they were banned last year, I think it's I do think it's a good move from Notre Dame, so I'm not going to give them much slack at all on that. I think it's a good move. Of course, in 2014, they are beefing it up, adding some ACC teams in there. adding one or two of the other members of the Big Ten, and also adding powerhouses such as Texas, Oklahoma, and Oklahoma State. So they're adding more power and really losing less with Michigan. So I don't blame them at all. I think their strength of schedule is going to increase instead of decrease.
You going like Chef Zach or Chef Banks over there?
Yeah, Chef Banks, yeah.
Yeah. Contribute, Zach. Anyway, you have a wild card, fellow?
I do not.
No.
No, not this week.
I've got 3.
What?
Wow! Well, only one.
Well, no, I got 3. One is not mine. One is Buck and Fives.
So Buck and Five gets a wild card?
What was that?
Buck and Five yet again helps us out. He got a shout out from this YouTube show called, I'm going to pronounce it, the DNL TV, who also reviews food. Buck and Five sent them a package, and they gave us a shout out. And ironically, if they are big wrestling fans themselves, they want to start a wrestling show. Way to copy, yes, right? But no, they gave us a show, which we really much appreciate that. And if they want to start a wrestling show, maybe we can contact them, and they can, learn from the masters at work anyway. So.
What else?
What do you think about that? I mean, it's good.
Oh, I think it's good. I didn't know that's what you were waiting on.
It's good.
Usually we don't interrupt people on their wild card section. So, of course, today being the exception with you towards me.
Well, it's always.
I thought you were trying to
stay in.
I thought you were trying to think.
I
thought you were trying to think of the word.
Yeah, but, I think it's
old school.
I think it's a good move.
Yeah.
And, if they do want to do a wrestling show, they would be copying us. But I want to give them a shout out and invite them, instead of doing your own wrestling show, why don't you coordinate with us a little bit?
Just a quick shout, just a quick comment, sort of a semi-wild card.
Okay.
Myself and Big B, the old sport over here, went and took in The Great Gatsby, and I recommend you go see it. It is absolutely amazing. It's a very good movie. I know a lot of people. It did not win the box office.
I mean, it's not going to beat Iron Man.
It's not going to beat Iron Man.
You're an Iron Man. What are you doing?
I know, but I knew it wouldn't be Iron Man.
I knew it wouldn't either.
Nobody knew it would beat Iron Man, but it beat the projections by over 10 million, and it's getting a lot of new rave reviews.
Richard Roper liked it, so.
So go check out The Great Gatsby. Definitely.
Although I wouldn't play the old sport drinking game. He wouldn't last.
No, we're gonna do that.
I agree.
We promised, and you're gonna play with us soon.
Fun.
But when it comes out on
anybody.
When it comes out on DVD
or Blu-ray,
whatever, DVD. We're gonna get everybody's gonna get their drink of choice. It all has to be. So if everybody drinks that vodka, we all gonna have vodka.
That's fine.
Every time Leo says old sport, you have to take a shot.
The only way you're going to win is if you choose whiskey, and I don't think that either of you guys can do whiskey too much.
I can do whiskey.
You can?
I'll tell you that.
That's what I had on my bachelor party.
I'll tell you that. Maybe like 15 minutes. Well, not 15 minutes, but 15 minutes when Leo starts appearing, it's going to be rough. So.
It'll be fun though.
So
I think we should do the show afterwards.
Yeah. Oh God. So let me do another quick headline here. Okay. So Gordon Ramsay has a lot of shows out there: Hell's Kitchen, MasterChef. It's a bunch of other ones, Hotel Hell, whatever.
Is this the idiot of the week?
No. Well, I could be, but whatever. So this Kitchen Nightmares thing blows up over the weekend. He goes to this restaurant called the Amy Baking Company. They're like a bistro. They make like pizzas, and she has desserts in the window. He goes there, and the job of Kitchen Nightmares for him is to help rectify a restaurant that's having problems, that something's not going right, and he comes in and tries to fix it. He's done it ever since the show began. It was done in London, now it's here in the States. He's trying to help restaurants, and every time he's been successful. This one, not so much. The owners were just completely outlandish. They would yell at customers. They would tell them that if they sent food back, it was wrong. They're just completely closed-minded, and he tried to help them, but this is the first time he actually gave up. He couldn't help them. They were just completely closed-minded. The wife was a complete nut job. The husband wasn't much better. They were saying they were haters on Reddit and Yelp and stuff like that, and then there was comments on their Facebook pages saying they were attacking, and there was a story that it got hacked. But bottom line, this is not how you run a restaurant, and how they're still in business, I have no idea.
That sounds like the idiot of the week to me.
So I guess it could be the idiot of the week.
So the ABC Bistro in Scottsdale, Arizona, you are this week's Triple Threat Talk, episode 99, Idiot of the Week.
I forgot to mention, the waitresses there do not get tips. Tips go to the owner.
What?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
so they can't be working for a service wage.
They work hourly, and that's it.
Okay. So it's not like $2.13 an hour, like
no, it's $7.25 minimum wage, probably.
Wow.
So that place is a lot, and you can always look that up. There's a lot more to it.
Tips go to the owner.
All right. So my final wild card is all about me. It says I'm finally making a career decision, and I've gone. Ryback's not here. I finally weighed back.
You're close to it, so easily.
I've weighed back and forth this for quite some time, doing something like this or doing something like a tennis thing or whatever. But bottom line, I wanted something in animation / voice acting. Starting to get the pieces together to do something that there's actually my old. And here's the thing, okay. I tried to contact ITT, my old college, to see if they would, because when you graduate there, one of the perks they have is to allow you to repeat a class if you want to sit down on it. Unfortunately, they don't offer that anymore for my program. All that program I have is wiped out. So that's real helpful. So it seems like I'm gonna have to do everything on my own, which I have no problem with that. We're gonna try to build some stuff up. I have to get a better microphone for voice acting, produce a better demo than I have in the past, and try to build stuff up. And there's actually a software my old Flash teacher sent me on Facebook. It's called Toon Boom Studio, which actually a lot of major companies use it. Nickelodeon, Disney, just name a few. They use that program. So obviously that's going to be something that I think I'd like to do. Maybe start an online animated show. I know you had some vested interest in it. So we'll see where it goes, but that's something I want to do. I've always been interested in animation, and this seems like the career path I'm going to go towards, because I think I can be a voice actor and do stuff like that, because I think that's something I know I can do. Not something I wish I could do, but I know I can do it. So that's my wild card for this week.
All right.
Good show as always. Episode 99-100 is next week. I expect some big things next week.
Really?
Surprises, as I mentioned.
I'm scared. Are you scared?
Probably some kind of skit will be thrown there somewhere, and we'll look back at old episodes.
Might even try to go to OVW and maybe see if we can relive, get some of their interviews.
We'll see. But that does it for episode 99 this week. So if you want to like us on Facebook, please do it. Facebook.com/triplethreattalk. You can follow us on Twitter at triplethreattalk. Thank you. So you can send us any comment or question you have at triplethreattalk at yahoo.com. Of course, your blogs are always welcome. This is Big B.
This is Postmaster Jones.
And if you want to send us a happy 100 or something video, we might be able to include that in the show, maybe.
Sure.
I think we could probably do that. Happy 100, anything like that, any videos that you guys have, throw them in. This is the doctor.
My teeth! Get me my gum out!
This is Big B signing off, and next week's episode 100, it's going to be a whirlwind of pain come my way, I guarantee it. See you next week.
Yes. 100 episodes of death, baby.
Sounds like a great idea.
1,000 ways to kill Big B.
100 ways to kill Big B. It's gonna be the